So what's my video about today? Well, if you've seen in the description, my video today is asking the question, have you ever house trained a puppy? Have you ever house trained a dog? Because sometimes when you get a little puppy, it seems like it takes forever to get that thing house trained, right? And you know, you got the little puppy, it's the cutest little thing. You probably let the kids select the puppy. It was just a cute little dog. And you get it home and you get the little puppy food and the puppy pads and the little kennel or whatever. And you get that dog home, but you know in the back of your mind that this is gonna be some work, okay? You know that it's gonna be some work to get this dog, this puppy, house trained, right? So what do you have to do? Well, you know, oftentimes, you know, the way I was brought up showing a puppy how to be potty trained was to rub its nose in it, pop it on its butt and put it outside, and keep doing that. If they pee or poop, if you catch them enough times, that they'll eventually, hopefully, learn how to use the bathroom outside instead of in the house, right? So you do that for a while, you keep doing it, you know, you seem like it's working. You get out of the bed one night in the middle of the night, you step in poop or pee, right? Makes you mad. You have to get up in the middle of the night because the dog's whining or whatever, and you have to let it out, okay? So that may happen multiple times. Not unlike having a small baby where you have to get up in the middle of the night to feed it and change it. But a puppy, you definitely have to keep doing it and be consistent with it, so that way it'll start pooping out in the yard, right? Well, then as that dog gets older, it starts learning a little bit, but then it's pooping on the porch. It's scared to go out in the road or go out in the yard, okay? It's pooping on the porch. It won't even go out in the yard after you spend all this time trying to train it to do so, okay? Maybe the dog don't like you. Maybe the dog gets older, and because all those butt spankings you gave it, it's just mad. It just wants to poop on the porch, okay? So you spend time trying to train this dog to poop out in the yard, and it takes a long time to get it done, okay? And then there's some animals, some dogs, that are just so stubborn, they just poop wherever they want to anyway, and nothing you can do about it. So at some point in time, you got to make a decision, okay? Do you want to continue to try to train this dog to use the bathroom in the yard? Or do you possibly want to maybe put it in a new home where maybe it gets along with its new owners a little bit better, okay? Because maybe it doesn't like you, right? Oftentimes, animals just have a connection, maybe with one of the spouses, maybe the female, maybe the male, and the other one can't do anything with it. So potty training an animal, potty training a dog is tough stuff, right? And if it keeps pooping on the porch, you got to do something with it. You got to make a decision. Where am I going with this, you might ask? You know I got something. So what if you have somebody like this that you work with, all right? What if you're a manager or a boss and you have somebody like this that works for you, okay? What do I mean? Somebody that's always pooping on your porch, right? Somebody that's always pooping in your house. What do I mean by that? Somebody that's always negative. Somebody that's always talking about you or the business. Somebody that's always bad-mouthing you out in public. Bad-mouthing the business out in public. I don't care if they're a new employee or old employee, okay? These ones that keep pooping in your house and on your porch, sometimes you got to make a tough decision, right? Sometimes it may be better to try to put them with a different owner or a different supervisor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it can only be one of two things, okay? Either they're just stubborn where they just don't want to learn and to be respectful for the people they work for, or two, maybe it was a training issue. Maybe you didn't train them correctly as they were coming up. Much like a puppy, if you just let the puppy poop or whatever and never worry about it, it's just gonna keep pooping wherever it wants to. If you have somebody that works for you or you work with that continues to talk bad and to down people and to talk negative and to publicly talk about you or your business out there in society, it might be time to make that tough decision to where, look, you might need to go somewhere else and work, okay? And that's just the way I look at things. I know this is a tough subject to talk about because, and I like to use analogies so you'll remember what I'm talking about, but much like that dog that keeps pooping on the porch and you keep stepping in it, might have to go somewhere else. Same thing goes for somebody that works for you or that you supervise that constantly talks about you in public. Because what does that do? Okay, it causes everybody else to be like that. It causes a constant spread of negativity. If you step out of the bed into a pile of poop in the middle of the night, what's going to happen? I know what I'm going to do. It's probably going to involve a foot up against the butt of an animal. I hate to be like that, but in the middle of the night you step in something like that, it makes you mad. Okay, you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. So what difference does it make if somebody's worked for you forever, or if they're a new employee, if all they're doing is pooping on you? Okay, well, my first thought is if you don't like working at a place, or you don't get along with people that you work with, maybe it's time for you to go somewhere else. Maybe you have to take a self-evaluation and say, look, you know what? I don't like working here. I'm always seem to be negative and in a bad mood. Maybe it's me, and maybe I need to go somewhere else. Okay, but that's just a thought that I thought about this morning, because oftentimes we see people, or we hear about people in other businesses or industries that do nothing but complain and talk bad about their employer, and yet they continue to work there and bring misery to everybody else. Okay, don't be like that pile of poop on the floor when I step out of the bed and I step in it, because eventually I'm gonna get upset and I'm gonna have to let you know. I'm just telling you. Okay, baby, this dog's got to go. I'm sorry, I stepped in poop one too many times. Same thing has to be if you're a manager or a boss. Sometimes you have to look at it and say, you know what? I'm tired of you pooping on my porch. I hope this has reached somebody today. If this is you I'm talking about, look in the mirror and say, look, I'm tired of pooping on people's porch. Maybe it's time for me to go somewhere else. Hope this has helped somebody. Y'all have a great rest of the week and the weekend. This has been the Fist Pump Guy, selling cars the right way because it's the only way I know. Follow the Fist Pump Enterprise.